So, a lot of people come to my class with some ideas, some very particular ideas about Freud and his followers, or the people that came after him, the neo-Freudians or the object relations therapists, etc. But I think he's gotten a pretty bad rap in psychology in the last 30 years or so, and I think he's making a comeback. I know certainly when I've treated people, both in hospitals and in my individual practice, there are a lot of neo-Freudian type concepts that I still use and that are widely in use. Just the concept of transference and countertransference is something that many therapists talk about that we can credit to Freud. At any rate, I'm going to give you some samples of some different Freudian and neo-Freudian theorists and therapists so we can look a little more closely at these theories and contrast them sharply with cognitive behavior therapy and its approach to looking at sexuality and humans, personality in general. When I talk about Freud, I'm going to be talking more generally about, or more specifically, I should say, about several different theorists and therapists, including Jung and Melanie Klein and Freud's daughter, Anna Freud. And we're going to go quite in depth talking about Donald Winnicott and some of his theories. I think they'll ring a little more true to folks. But I think some of the precursors. If you think about how Freud thought and some of his early thinking, what it really came out of is the psychology or linguistics of errors. In other words, Freud and his followers were interested in times when we made kinds of omissions that we didn't think about very much. So this is where the notion of the Freudian slip comes in. When you these linguistic accidents, the way Freud viewed them is not as accidents at all, but as some sort of gateway or window into your unconscious. The unconscious is very important to Freudian theory, because what he specified, and some of his followers as well, is that there are parts of us that happen so automatically, behaviors we have that are so automatic, that they happen out of our conscious awareness. And so Freudian slips would be one example of that. Another would be dreams. There's a lot of psychologists right now who think that dreams don't mean anything, really, that they're just a random firing of neurons while we're sleeping. But I think, to get a little off topic and on topic at the same time, if we look at some of there's all sorts of new and exciting research coming out in neuropsychology, neuropsychiatry, and neurology that I think is a bit in line with some of the way Freud thought. If you think about automatic processes, neurons firing, one neuron fires, another one neuron fires, that's really what Freud was talking about when he's talking about the unconscious. And so if you extend that, and you think that you believe that dreams probably aren't completely random, they're probably some sort of shadowy reflection of processes that our brains are already engaged in and patterns that they're already engaged in on a day-to-day basis, then perhaps they do have some sort of significance when we're looking at someone's personality. At any rate, I ask you to look at some of these theories and these readings and the Winnicott readings with an open mind and see what you think.